I gave my mom $10,000 to fix her kitchen. She used every single penny to go on a vacation to Europe with her neighbor. And when she came back home, full of photos, souvenirs, and stories about Paris, she walked into her kitchen and found nothing but bare walls, exposed pipes, and a floor that looked like a construction site. Because while she was out there eating croissants, I had every single thing I already paid for removed. Every cabinet, every countertop, every tile, gone. This is not a story about me being a bad son. This is a story about what happens when you confuse love with being a pushover, about what happens when you say yes one too many times to someone who was supposed to protect you, but somewhere along the way decided that your kindness was just free money. My name doesn't matter. What matters is that this story is probably more common than you think, and if you've ever been the responsible one in your family, the one people call when they need something, you're going to feel this one in your chest. So let me take you back to where it all started. My mom and I have always had a complicated relationship. She's not a bad person, I want to make that clear right away, but she has always had a way of making you feel like saying no to her was somehow the same as abandoning her. I'm the oldest. I have two younger siblings, but somehow I became the one who handled everything. School problems, money issues, fixing things around the house. It always ended up on my plate, and I did it. Not because anyone asked me to, but because that's just the role I fell into. And for a long time, I was okay with it. I moved out when I was 22, got a decent job, saved money, lived below my means. Nothing fancy, but I was stable. And my mom was proud of me, or at least she said she was. Looking back, I think what she was actually proud of was the idea that she now had someone reliable she could call when things got hard. And things got hard a lot. Over the years, I helped her with rent when she was short. I paid for a car repair she couldn't afford. I covered my youngest sister's school trip when my mom said she didn't have the money. Small things, mostly. Nothing that ever really broke me. I told myself it was fine. It's family. You help family. But then came the kitchen. She called me on a Tuesday night. She had been having problems with her kitchen for months. The cabinets were falling apart, the countertops were cracked and stained, and the plumbing under the sink had been leaking so long that the floor underneath was starting to rot. She'd been ignoring it, but now it had gotten to the point where she couldn't ignore it anymore. She asked if I could help. I said I'd come take a look. I went over that weekend, and honestly, it was bad. Not disaster level, but bad enough that I understood why she was stressed. She needed new cabinets, new countertops, new flooring in that area, and someone to fix the plumbing properly. She said she had gotten a quote, $10,000 roughly. She said she didn't have it. She said she didn't know what to do. And then she looked at me. You know that look, the one that doesn't say, "Can you help me?" out loud, but says everything with the eyes. The one that makes you feel like if you say no, something terrible is going to happen and it's going to be your fault. I said I'd think about it. I went home, I ran the numbers, and I decided I could do it. 10,000 wasn't nothing for me, but it wasn't going to destroy me either. I had savings. I had been responsible. And this was my mom. Her kitchen was falling apart. Of course I was going to help. I called her the next day and told her I would give her the money. I told her I wanted receipts for everything. I told her I wanted to be updated on the progress. I even said, and I remember this clearly, "Mom, I need you to use this only for the kitchen. This is not spending money. This is for the renovation." She said she understood. She said she was so grateful. She cried a little on the phone. I transferred the money 2 days later. The first 2 weeks, she texted me a few times, said she was getting more quotes, comparing contractors, trying to find the best deal. I thought that was fine, normal process. Then the texts got less frequent. Then they stopped. I called her. She picked up, said everything was going fine, said the contractor was coming soon, said she'd send me photos when things got started. She sounded normal, happy even. Maybe a little too happy. Another week passed. Nothing. I texted her, "Hey, any updates on the kitchen?" She replied, "Still planning, don't worry." Still planning, after almost a month, with $10,000 sitting somewhere. I didn't push it. I told myself I was being paranoid. Maybe contractors in her area were busy. Maybe it was taking longer to schedule. I kept making excuses for her in my head, the way you do when you don't want to believe what you're starting to suspect. And then my cousin called me. My cousin, her name was Paula, was close with my mom's neighbor, a woman named Claudia, and Paula called me not to cause drama, but because she genuinely thought I already knew. "Hey, did your mom enjoy Europe?" I went silent. "What?" "Europe," Paula said. "She and Claudia went last week. Italy and France, I think. 10 days. Claudia was posting about it on Instagram." I didn't say anything for probably 5 full seconds. My brain was just processing. "She went to Europe?" "Yeah," Paula said. And then, slowly, like she was realizing what she'd just walked into, "You didn't know." I hung up. I'm not proud of it, but I hung up and I just sat there. I went to Claudia's Instagram, public profile, and there it was. Photo after photo after photo. The Eiffel Tower, some vineyard in Tuscany, my mom standing in front of a fountain, sunglasses on, big smile, holding a glass of wine, looking like she didn't have a care in the world, looking like she hadn't just taken $10,000 from her son and spent it on a vacation I didn't know about, for a trip I didn't agree to fund, for a decision she made without telling me, without asking me, and apparently without feeling guilty about it either, because she had been posting photos on social media like everything was perfectly fine. I called her. She didn't pick up. I called again. Voicemail. I sent a message that said, "Call me when you land." She didn't call for 3 more days. When she finally called, she acted like everything was normal. She said she was just getting back, that the flight was long, that she was tired. I let her talk for maybe 30 seconds. Then I asked her, "Where's my money, Mom?" She paused, and in that pause, I already knew she had no good answer, because if she had a good answer, she wouldn't have needed that pause. She started explaining. Claudia had found this deal and last-minute trip incredibly cheap, once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. She had always wanted to go to Europe. She had never had the chance. She was going to pay me back. She was going to fix the kitchen with other money she was going to figure out somehow. I asked her when she had planned to tell me. She didn't answer that. I asked her how much of the 10,000 was left. She said she'd have to check. I asked what that meant. She said the trip had been expensive. The deal wasn't as cheap as it looked. There were hotels, food, shopping. I stopped her there. "How much is left?" There was a long pause. "About 2,000, she said. 2,000 out of 10. $8,000 gone for a vacation I didn't know about, for a trip I didn't agree to fund, for a decision she made without telling me, without asking me, and apparently without feeling guilty about it either, because she had been posting photos on social media like everything was perfectly fine. I called her. I didn't sleep that night. I went back and forth in my head about what to do. Part of me wanted to just let it go. It's my mom, it's done, the money is gone. Fighting about it isn't going to bring it back. But another part of me, the part that had been saying yes for years, the part that had been the reliable one, the part that had been enabling this behavior without ever realizing it, that part was done being quiet. I thought about something my friend had told me once. You teach people how to treat you. And what had I been teaching my mom for years? That I would always come through, that even if I was frustrated, I'd get over it, that the consequences of taking advantage of me were basically nothing. If I did nothing this time, what was I teaching her? I made some calls. I reached out to the contractor she had originally been in contact with because I had his number from when I helped her get quotes. I explained the situation. He was actually very understanding. And then I asked him something that felt crazy when I was saying it out loud, but felt completely right at the same time. I asked him if any of the work had started yet. He said no, nothing had been scheduled, no deposit had been paid to him. The kitchen was exactly as it was before I gave her the money. So I asked him for a different kind of job. I paid him, out of my own pocket, separate from the 10,000, to go to my mom's house and remove everything from that kitchen that I had originally planned to replace. The old cabinets, the cracked countertops, the rotting floor section, the broken fixtures, everything that had been the reason she said she needed the money in the first place. He did it in a day. My mom was still traveling when it happened. I had timed it for before she got back. I had a key from years ago that she had given me in case of emergencies. I told myself this counted. When she walked into her house after 10 days in Europe, she found a kitchen that looked like a demolition zone. Walls exposed, pipes visible, no cabinets, no countertops, just concrete and old wood and empty space. She called me immediately. She was screaming, she was crying, she was saying I had lost my mind, that I had no right, that I was being cruel, that this was her house. I waited for her to stop. Then I said, "That's what $10,000 of renovation looks like when you spend the money on something else. The materials are gone because the money is gone. If you want a kitchen, you'll need to figure out how to pay for it yourself." Then I hung up. The next few weeks were rough. She told my siblings what happened. My brother thought I had gone too far. My sister didn't say much, which I took as quiet agreement with me. My aunt called me to say I had humiliated my mother. A couple of family members stopped talking to me for a while. But here's what also happened. Some of them, the ones who had watched me get taken advantage of for years, reached out privately. My cousin Paula said she was proud of me. A family friend who had known us since I was a kid texted me and said it was time. My mom eventually called me, about 3 weeks later, when things had calmed down a bit. She wasn't screaming this time. She was quieter. She said she was sorry. She said she made a mistake. She said she didn't realize how much it would affect me. I accepted the apology. I told her I loved her, and I told her that things were going to be different going forward, that I wasn't going to be the person she called when she needed money anymore. Not because I didn't care, but because I had realized that giving her money without boundaries hadn't been helping her. It had been helping her avoid responsibility. She didn't like hearing that, but she listened. I don't tell this story to make my mom look like a villain. She's not. She's a person who made a selfish choice and got used to the idea that the consequences would be soft. I tell this story because I spent years thinking that helping family meant saying yes every time, that love meant absorbing whatever came your way and never pushing back. But real love, at least the kind that's sustainable, the kind that doesn't eat you alive from the inside, has to have limits. It has to have honesty. It has to include the ability to say, "This is not okay, and I'm going to show you that clearly so there's no confusion." The kitchen is still in progress, by the way. She ended up calling the contractor herself, slowly putting together the money over time. It's taking longer. It's harder. But she's doing it. And I think somewhere in all of that, she's learning something she probably should have learned a long time ago. I know I did. If you've been through something like this, subscribe. I post stories like this every week.